guys, and welcome to this little tutorial on Prisma with Python. Today we're going to create a little database table here in my localhost Postgres database, and then we're going to do some batch requests. So this is my setup, those are my requirements packages. This is my tiny Prisma file, my schema file. As you can see here, my data source is my Postgres localhost. So usually you would have something like user password, but I don't have any password. I'm just going to go with my Postgres user. All right, so why don't we go ahead and create a little table here. I am right now in the PyCharm IDE, and I'm just going to create a very simple table. I'm going to call this table simple, and it's just going to have one column. I'm going to call this column because we're going to take things easy here. And then we're going to create a primary key. We're just going to make our column the primary key. And there we go. As you can see now, we have this little table here. Let's open it up. You can see it is empty. So what we need to do now, we need to generate the Prisma schema. So we go ahead and do some Prisma db pull. Now you can see the model was loaded into the schema file. Now we're going to generate the client. And there we go. It is generated. And what do we need? We need Prisma. And we are probably going to need some async IO to do some async operations. Let's write our main file. So in the end, we're going to run a function that we're going to define. Let's call that function main. And let's define it right here. Main is going to be an async function. There we go. And let us just create our Prisma client. And we're going to use the context manager. So now we could basically just go ahead and write some random values into this table. As said, we only have one column here that we call column. Very, very funny, as always. And we are just going to loop over a couple of numbers. Let's say we loop over 0 to 99, and then we're gonna do something like simple create. Now this is gonna enable us to create a row. And what Prisma wants right here is some dictionary. Now as we only have one column, we're gonna just say column refers to I. And if we are going to run this, we see it has worked. Let's open up that table and we see we have 100 values over here. Now this is awesome. Let's go a step further and maybe test how long this whole thing took. All right, so we're gonna go ahead here and we're just gonna delete all those values right here. There we go. Going to go back to our file. We're going to do the same, but this time we're going to count to 10,000. And we're going to also measure the time it took to do so. So let's go ahead and do start time. And then print the amount of seconds it took to get here and go. We wait and we wait. This takes a lot longer than I anticipated. But after this, we're going to do the same thing in a batch request. And then we're going to see how fast this whole thing got. There we go. It took 24 seconds. I think this is insane. Let's open up. Let's go to the last page and we see indeed 10,000 entries. Guys, this is way too much. Let's change that up. But before we do that again, we're just gonna delete that table. Let's open up the query console, do a little delete statement. Delete from simple where true. And there we go. The table should now be empty. It is indeed. So the way we can use a batcher with Prisma in Python is going to be like this. All right, we remain here in our client context, but now we're going to add something. We're going to do something like this. Batch as batcher. And now we're going to remove the client. We're going to do everything with the batcher. Going to do that. And there we go. So let's try and run that. As you can see, this operation took 4 seconds instead of 24 seconds. And I hope that this convinces you that using the batcher of the Python Prisma client has some speed advantages.